In today's video, I'm going to be testing banned airsoft guns. I bought a crazy powerful bolt action sniper rifle that actually changes the size of the BB. And with this sniper rifle in today's video, we're going to be going for a world record airsoft shot. And we also have a 10 round burst shotgun. And one of the fastest shooting airsoft guns on the planet, to name a few. And all of the airsoft guns in today's video have one thing in common. They're all illegal to use at the airsoft field. First up, we have this $400 airsoft sniper. At first glance, this looks like a normal SSG 10 bolt action airsoft sniper rifle with a custom paint job. But this sniper has a lot more than meets the eye. It is fully equipped with a full thrust system. Due to legal reasons where I live, I can't even have one of these shipped to me. So I got lucky and found one on the used market for us to test. So now you're probably thinking, why is this system so hard to get your hands on? Well, how this system works is it transitions your airsoft sniper rifle from being able to shoot a .46 gram 5.95mm BB all the way to a 6.2 gram 6.44mm BB, now being able to shoot a bigger projectile. Of course, this airsoft sniper rifle now has a huge advantage over normal ones on the field. But of course, I didn't stop there. I also bought the most powerful spring you could possibly put into an airsoft sniper rifle. For reference, this is an M10 spring and it shoots under 1 joule of power and 310 FPS. This is the M60 spring. It produces 500 FPS and almost 3 joules. But for this video, we chose the M220 spring. It produces 700 FPS and over 5 joules of energy. Just insane. Not like smack that barrel. That's crazy. Okay. To truly test this airsoft sniper out, of course, I couldn't just test it in my backyard, so we took it to the airsoft field with basically unlimited space for us to show off its capabilities. And we also get access to a proper sniper tower. We're going to be performing different range tests to see how far this thing can really shoot. Alright, let's start with something pretty simple. Let's see if we can hit these little pans right here. There goes the bipod. I'm a professional sniper, you can trust me. I do have a little crosswind, have to keep in mind. Alright, shot the cross right there. We're aiming quite a bit down just to hit that. So now, let's aim at something a little bit further away. What about that little green house over there? How about that? Oh, this thing is so hard to pull back. That spring is crazy. That's a clean hit right there. Damn. That is 258 feet away. That is insane. Let's go ahead and see if we can shoot even further. Because right now this thing doesn't even seem like it's struggling whatsoever. All right, what about that other sniper tower over there? Let's go ahead and see if we can hit that bad boy. That's crazy. I like hit it like seconds after. It was so delayed. That's so far. Damn! 328 feet away. That's impressive. But I think we can even push out a little bit more. Hitting this super long shot made me curious. What is the world record for the longest airsoft shot? After some research, I found that people were hitting about the same distance as the last shot we took as their record, about 100 meters away. But of course, we had a full thrust kit and 700 FPS, so let's see how far we could really take it. We're going to be trying to hit this huge barrel structure on the other side of the field. This thing is way past 100 meters. Let's see if we can hit it. I don't even know if this is possible. There's no way, right? Oh! No way! Dude, I kind of took that as like a joke shot. You guys heard that hit? Yeah, I'm actually kind of like in disbelief right now. First of all, I didn't think I was gonna be able to hear it. And second of all, I literally just took a random shot at that huge like barrel over there. I'm pretty sure it's a world record. And to make this thing even crazier, we're shooting against the wind right now. The wind is literally coming this way. That's crazy. Another one. Okay, how far is that? Let's see. Okay, here is the grand reveal, 180.5 yards. What? 541 feet away.
That is insanity. That's the longest airsoft shot I've ever heard. I'm pretty sure that's a record. Obviously, we're shooting a huge structure, but it is still insane that I can hit that far.
I had honestly no idea I'd be able to hit this far, so I didn't think about putting a proper camera down range to see the BB hit. And I also didn't have a sniper zoom camera either, but it's pretty safe to say it's hitting something over there about 400 or 500 feet away. If I had the proper equipment to document this, I'd love to redo this test one day to prove how crazy this thing is.
Damn.
Next up in the video, we have this bad boy. This is the G&G ESG B10 Airsoft Shotgun. Here is the price for this guy right here. Let's go ahead and open this one up and of course talk about some of the awesome features that comes with. And then we'll go ahead and take it to the airsoft field and discuss why it's actually banned. This is a long-awaited product. This one just came out this year, and it's actually a bullpup design for a shotgun, which is a very unique style, to say the least, for a shotgun. As you can see, it fully utilizes M4 style magazines to load up this airsoft shotgun. Whoa, this thing's actually pretty hefty. Damn, I was not expecting that. Here's the weight on screen right there. To fill up the gas, all you have to do is locate the gas valve at the bottom of the stock, fill up your green gas, and each fill will actually fire a minimum of 70 rounds. And of course, why this thing is banned is it has a crazy feature of being able to shoot 5 or 10 shots per trigger pull, which is absolutely insane for an airsoft shotgun. And it's super surprising, all of those 5 or 10 BBs per shot come out of a single barrel, which makes me very curious to see how this will actually shoot.
So I went ahead and loaded this up with green gas at the bottom, as you guys know basically how this works by now. But the issue with this one is basically it shoots 5 BBs at once, as you guys know now. So I'm just gonna put 1 BB in the magazine at once and see if that actually can help us chronograph it. I'm not sure what's gonna really happen because the gas will still disperse the same as if it's shooting 5 BBs, but of course now we're only gonna be shooting 1. So let's just go ahead and see what happens. All right, my first time actually ever shooting this thing. Let's see how it goes. 0.20 BBs. Whoa, okay. 211.4 FPS, definitely not that crazy, with 0.41 joules. Definitely not the most impressive. Let's go ahead and try one more shot and see what happens. Oh, well, at least it's consistent. 209.7 FPS with 0.41 joules. This is the actual FPS right here, what it's supposed to be. But before we give up on getting the right FPS, let's go ahead and try the 10 rounds per shot mode. Hopefully that will disperse more gas into the system, and then of course, therefore, heighten the FPS. Damn it, so hard to load 1 BB. All right. That definitely did not do much. We went 1 FPS up. Definitely like 80 FPS under what is actually on the website.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
I'm actually pretty excited to shoot this thing. I've never actually shot something like this before, so it should be pretty cool. We filled up the back, obviously the valve with about 5-6 seconds of gas. Let's see how it does. Let's try the 5-shot function first at that barrel right there. Whoa! That is way different than I thought. So like one of the BBs went super far up, the other one went super far down before they made it to the barrel, and then the other like 2 or 3 just kind of hit the barrel, so that's pretty cool. Whoa! The BB grouping is definitely way worse than I thought it was going to be initially. BBs would go up, down, left, right. There's always kind of a good, decent group of like 2 or 3 that tend to stick together, it looks like, which is pretty good. I think this is pretty much the max range, at least for the 5-round burst. Already 10 rounds per shot. Let's see what this puppy does. Okay, weirdly enough, they're way more consistent in the group. Damn! Sounds crazy when it hits that barrel. I'm actually having to aim quite a bit upward to hit that barrel right there. So yeah, definitely not the best range. Yeah, I don't know what it is about the 10-shot ones, but they're way more consistent in a group. So obviously, if you're playing outdoors, you're probably not gonna get many airsoft kills with this thing. But if we take this to a CQB field, that's where this thing turns into a monster. Let's go to the Call of Duty shipment field and show you guys what I'm talking about.
You guys heard me right. For the rest of all of the airsoft guns in the video, we're gonna be testing them out at the real life shipment map from Call of Duty.
Whoa.
wow, it's very nice.
This thing just has so much firepower so quickly out of a tiny package. I'd be so surprised if any airsoft fields would allow this. Especially a tiny field like Shipment where it's super close quarters, this thing would absolutely dominate other airsoft players. And the fact you can reload with M4 mags means you could get back in the battle super quick instead of taking your time reloading with normal shotgun shells. And of course, it being fully semi-automatic even adds to its advantage as well. On a close quarters field, 5-round burst is already pretty scary enough, but 10-round burst is where things start to heat up quite a bit. Besides having extreme range disadvantage, in a CQB field with super tight corners, this thing would dominate.
For the next one, we have a mysterious cardboard box that's pretty small actually. Let's go ahead and open this up and see what we got. These cheap airsoft guns have a whole bunch of different names. You never know what it's actually called. It's different on the website, different what's in the box, of course in the manual. It's all different names, but we'll call this one the Well 1911 Clear CO2 pistol. This one comes in at $41, and as you can see, it's pretty simple. It is so simple, you can basically see through the entire design into the actual internal mechanism of the airsoft pistol.
This cheap pistol is powered by CO2 12-gram cartridges you put in the grip, and that's pretty much it. Let's now go and check out why it's banned.
Right, first shot with this bad boy. Let's see the FPS. Guess the fire and safe is just a little switch right there. Pretty sketchy. All right, here we go. Oh, only 386.4 FPS with 1.39 joules. Definitely not what I expected. Oh, wait. That one was way more. 400 FPS. Damn, that's loud though. Last shot was 416.9 FPS with 1.62 joules. Usually with gas guns, the FPS goes down when you shoot it. This one's increasing FPS. That's pretty sketchy. 428.4, it's still increasing with 1.71 joules. This is so bizarre. Okay, now it's down to 390. 420, 425. 452.8 with 1.9 joules. Why is it increasing? That's so sketchy. This is the only gas gun I've ever seen increase FPS instead of going down as you're going through the actual canister. That is crazy. 431, 454, 420, 420. Okay, 248, that's weird. 442, 461, a new record. Damn, that sounds so loud when it runs out of BBs. Damn, with 1.97 joules, almost 2 joules for a pistol. That is crazy, and it's only $40. That's so sketchy. Okay, more BBs apparently. Let's see if it keeps going up. Whoa! 641.3 FPS with 382 joules? Damn, that's sketchy. What? Okay, this thing definitely needs to be banned. It went from like 300 FPS to 600 in one shot. 444. 612 with 3.48 joules. This thing is so sketchy, dude. 443. 1046.4 FPS with 10.18 joules. What? Bro, what the f? 424. 1006.6 FPS with 9.42 joules. What is this thing doing? And now you can hear it leaking.
Bruh.
This thing definitely should be banned at all airsoft fields. It is basically shooting like between 350 FPS to like 1,000 FPS. So you don't even know what you're gonna get. Most likely the 1,000 FPS is some kind of fluke, I hope, but you never know. On one shot, you're shooting a normal like FPS at CQB fields about 350, and then the next shot, you're shooting like 550 FPS, so it is like a crazy FPS for a sniper rifle. So definitely should be banned at all fields. Just for shits and giggles, let's hear what this thing sounds indoors. Damn. This thing is so powerful, just shooting by the barrels make the barrels have a sound. That's so bad.
One of the reviews I read before buying this was from Jacob George, and he says, I bought this out of curiosity and I was rather impressed. Well, that it lasted me a month. So I guess according to Jacob, the reliability is not the best, and I definitely understand him now after trying to reload another CO2 cartridge into this guy. Because right when I started to do that, it started to leak and completely broke.
Uh-oh. Bruh. Oh no, it's leaking. And it's like already tightened all the way. Well, I guess that's it for this thing. I guess it's a one-time use pistol. Clearly, we are moving up in size. This one is the Dan Weston 8-inch revolver from ASG. This one costs $99.95. As you can see, a very simple box. All you have to do is slide off the top. It has a little owner's manual right there as well. You get a sketchy little bottle of BBs in a super weird shape. They pretty much made this so it's easy to put into the actual little revolver shells, but definitely a pretty weird design. It, funny enough, actually comes with a bottom rail you can actually install onto this thing as well. You have 6 different shells right there, as you can see. Very realistic design, very cool. You just put the BBs in the top right there. And of course, this really sweet little loading device. This little guy is pretty sweet. All you have to do is load up all these shells and you basically press them into the revolver, into the loading mechanism right there. And then of course, the airsoft pistol itself. This thing looks absolutely insane. Revolvers already look cool as they are, but of course the Dan Weston one in this super cool color definitely makes it look way more menacing.
Why is it banned? Well, let's go to the chronograph and show you guys why.
All right, the hand cannon, baby. Let's see how this thing chronographs. We got our CO2 all the way in there. Let's see how this thing goes. Damn! You see all the gas that like came out of the back of this thing? That's crazy. Okay, nothing crazy. 287.4 FPS with 0.77 joules. Let's try another shot. Okay, increasing quite a bit. It's going from 280 to 337.5, and now we're over a joule as well. What? There's 2 numbers. I've never seen that in my life. Damn. Okay, now it's 380. 1083.4? Hopefully that's just the gas coming out the end. That's insane with almost 11 joules. Imagine that. That's crazy. 495.3 FPS with 2.28 joules for a pistol? These are so sketch. Okay, I think we're out of shots here. Let's go ahead and reload. Obviously, this is the major con of having a revolver. You have to take all your little shells here and load them up. Whereas modern pistols, you could just switch the mag super easy. This is a little bit more tricky. The sound is so nice. All right, let's resume the shenanigans and see what happens. 499.1 with 2.31 joules, a record for this guy. 538.9 with 2.7 joules. That's almost 3 joules out of a pistol. That is so sketchy. 503, 480. Let's load this thing one last time and see if we can increase the FPS another time. .475, 519, 531, 522, 476. 448, and that's our last shot. So the record we got with this one was 500 and almost 40 FPS with just under 3 joules. That is scary powerful for a airsoft pistol. And not to mention the variance of FPS is crazy too. About 400 FPS all the way to like 550. That is insane. This thing should definitely not be allowed at any airsoft field. Before we go into the actual shooting test of this one, to actually test out the power and the actual range of this, let's go ahead and read some 5-star reviews. Joseph P says, so this thing shoots with over 2.5 joules of nastiness, which we already proved. Almost 3 joules actually, pretty insane. It is accurate up to 35 meters. Okay, we'll definitely note that and actually do a shooting test to see if that's true. When I want to make a long range shot, this revolver can make it. It isn't a sniper, but it's close to one if you stick a scope on it. Imagine like a scope on this thing, that'd be hilarious. Bruh. And he said the pros, hits hard. No one's gonna try to cheat after getting hit with this thing. Yeah, I'd say so. This thing would hurt. Thomas B says, I'm so impressed with this revolver. It is by far my favorite sidearm I've ever owned. I managed to tag about 6 people without missing them once. Wow, this thing is probably pretty accurate then. And one guy I scared the crap out of, surrendering him with a 8-inch revolver in his face. Imagine just coming out of a corner and just having this thing pointed to your face. Yeah, I'd be scared too. And he said the pros are extremely good accuracy and range and shoots the same, if not more, than my stock combat machine. So that's interesting. We'll have to actually test this out against a stock airsoft gun and see if it actually is better.
Just like the review, we set the target up at 110 feet away. Let's see if it can actually hit it.
Got it. Definitely no issues with this one.
Just like the review, we did bring our combat machine to test out versus the Revolver, but I thought I would level it up a notch. I brought my Lancer Tactical Gen 2, which should outperform that G&G combat machine out of the box. So we're going to use this for today's tests.
All right, so now we're going to be shooting something even further away. See that barrel right there? Yeah, that one. That one's 200 feet away. Let's first see if this guy can hit it, and then we'll pull out the Revolver and see what the maximum range is for that bad boy. And of course, this airsoft gun actually has a hop-up system, and the Revolver does not. So if the Revolver actually hits at this distance, because this is pretty much the maximum for this guy, that's gonna be super impressive. All right, let's see if it can hit it. Damn, that went like way over the target. Holy. Damn. And I'm actually aiming just above the barrels too, whereas the rifle I had to aim way above. This thing is crazy. Definitely more range than the actual rifle, and this thing does even have a hop-up. Could definitely see what he means by this being a sniper rifle.
Seeing a huge number on a chronograph is cool and all, but let's actually put this into a real-world example. And for today's test, of course, we're going to use a block of spam, because it definitely doesn't get more professional than that. We got a brand new Tokenrui 4.5 to show you guys the difference between a normal gas-like pistol and this crazy Revolver.
Damn.
It's insane how much bigger the actual penetration point is from the Revolver to the actual normal airsoft pistol. And it's ridiculous, the Revolver can actually penetrate fully through the spam, whereas the normal pistol cannot.
Oh, it went through too. Damn. This is the Wingun Mosin Nagant M44 bolt action airsoft rifle. This rifle comes in just over $300. Let's first go over some of the awesome features of this airsoft rifle, and then we'll go ahead and take it to the field and test it out, and of course talk about why it's banned.
This guy weighs over 8 pounds and utilizes imitation wood for the furniture, and then for the barrel, trigger, and mag assembly uses a full metal design, definitely making this thing look ultra realistic. It utilizes 12 gram CO2 cartridges conveniently stored in a 12 round removable magazine, and let me tell you, this is definitely one of the weirdest magazines I've ever seen. Now let's go to the field and talk about some of the features on why this thing is actually banned at the airsoft field.
Definitely one of the weirdest magazines I've ever seen in airsoft. Let's go ahead and plug this thing in and see what it does. All right, here goes nothing. Ooh, that's not good. 867.3 FPS with almost 7 joules? What? Okay, this is definitely not right. These airsoft guns are giving me heart attacks. Okay, there we go. There's a normal shot. 313.3 FPS with 0.91 joules. Again, 1,000 FPS. Okay, there's a real shot. We got 497.6 FPS with 2.3 joules. That's pretty insane. Okay, that's the FPS. So we got very consistent 2 shots, one after another. So just about under 500 FPS and about 2.3 joules with this bolt action CO2 rifle. Let's try one shot and see how far it goes. Damn, almost across the field. And of course, the FPS is absolutely insane for just a little rifle, but there is one more reason why this thing is super illegal to use at an airsoft field. And that's this guy at the front. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, it has a full bayonet at the front. It's not even like a plastic or rubber one. It's a full metal one. So imagine not only coming around the corner with a over 2 joule airsoft bolt action rifle, and it shoots almost 500 FPS. So that's already gonna hurt really bad. But not only that is you have a full bayonet, so you can just absolutely just lay into someone, making this thing super banned at all airsoft fields. Definitely makes it look really cool though, I'll give it that. And the worst part about this thing is even if you're a super respectful player and you're obviously not trying to like actually hurt someone with this thing, it's kind of just a matter of time, because if you're trying to clear rooms like this and you're like see someone in this corner, for example, and you kind of swing, you're obviously just gonna automatically just cut their head off with this thing. Even if you whack someone in the face, it's still gonna hurt pretty bad like this. That's definitely gonna leave a mark.
So this thing obviously has some insane power, but how far is the actual range?
First shot, we're gonna go ahead and try 140 feet away. Oh, okay, that was easy. I was expecting to take a couple tries, but this thing's pretty insane. Now let's scoot back the GoPro to 200 feet and then we'll go for a maximum shot test. All right, here goes nothing. Damn, that's so easy with this thing. First shot too, that's crazy. Let's try one more shot. Damn, light work. Now let's go for a record shot with this one. Let's see how far we can really take it.
And to try going for the maximum range with this M44, we're going to be utilizing the sniper towers yet again. And of course, trying to hit these huge barrels. This one is 260 feet away, and this one is 300 feet away. Let's see if we can hit them. Shooting against the wind definitely adds to the challenge, but having the height advantage with the sniper tower definitely helps. I started off by trying to hit the 300 feet away tower, but I really didn't have any luck. That is until I tried to shoot the other tower that was 260 feet away. I managed to hit this one a few times and was pretty proud of this thing honestly against the wind, but I'm pretty sure that's about the maximum range, about 200 to 250 feet away, at least against the wind. Definitely still pretty impressive for what essentially is a collectible airsoft gun, definitely not a fieldable one. And of course, out of curiosity, let's do the spam test on the M44.
That went straight through. Oh, damn. Oh, that's literally going through. That's insane. Next up, we have the Tokumui Extreme 45 gas blowback airsoft pistol. As you can see, we have some awesome graphics on the box right here from Tokumui. All you have to do to open up is slide off the top. This guy comes in at $165, pretty expensive for a gas blowback pistol. Very simple box. Under here, all you have is some like lip replacements for the actual magazine itself in case those break. You have a barrel plug, and of course, right next to that is these weird looking yellow BBs. This is a full gas-like magazine. You load up the gas at the bottom right there, and it's a double stacked one, so this one should hold about 31 rounds. You of course have a huge warning sticker blocking what it says on half the slide, so that's pretty funny. But that warning sticker is definitely for a good cause. This thing is absolutely insane.
What makes this a banned airsoft gun is it's only full auto. It's not even capable of doing semi-automatic, and it shoots super fast rounds per second. It's equipped with a ultra lightweight slide fully made of ABS plastic, making it cycle even faster than standard airsoft pistols. Before we go ahead and test it out, let's read some 5-star reviews to see what other people think of it.
And the first review I saw was Robert H says, "This gun go burr." I'd say so. And then he says, also, high kappa go burr if you short stroke it. That's a good idea.
Shout out to Robert, we did exactly that. Right after unboxing this, I went ahead and actually short stroked it, which in layman's terms basically means this slide doesn't have to go all the way back to actually cycle a BB through, making this thing shoot way faster.
He says, buy it if you want to feel like Thanos on the airsoft field. Kenneth M says, I've had this gun for about 8 months, and this is my overall verdict. It has insane RPS, about 23, but long range, not the best. Probably about 100 feet would be the max accuracy. Okay, we'll test it out and see if it could go up to 100 feet. I would totally buy this gun if it were intended for a backup or a CQB primary with an HPA adapter. I personally love it. What a beast. That gives me an idea.
So of course, just like Kenneth suggested, we got a HPA adapter. And this is not your ordinary HPA adapter. This one actually utilizes MP5 magazines, and that means way more BBs and way more burr. Okay, we're not going to start off too crazy. For the chronograph test, we're just going to use the normal gas magazine to get a baseline reading, and then with the shooting test, we'll go ahead and step it up with the HPA adapter magazine.
Let's try to do a single shot and see the FPS, and then we'll go on to see what the RPS is. 306.4 FPS with 0.87 joules. Now let's see the RPS. Whoa, yo, that's crazy. That little burst was 26.2 rounds per second. Damn, 25.2. Damn, 26.4. This thing is crazy. Usually airsoft fields have anywhere between like a 15 to 25 RPS cap, so that's definitely over the limit. Let's actually go ahead and empty a full magazine and show you guys how actually quick this shoots. Oops. Those barrels right there are about 80 feet away, and then we're gonna go ahead and try to shoot that barrel way over there, and that one's 160 feet away. Let's see if it first hits these barrels. All right, no problem, at about 80 feet away. Now let's go ahead and do 160 and see if this thing can actually hit at that distance. Okay. Definitely took me a few bursts to hit it, but you can hit a little burst on about 160 feet away. I definitely think that's about the max range of this one. I'm obviously aiming quite a bit up as well, so definitely gonna be the max range. I'd say an accurate and more realistic range for this one, I'd say about 100, 120 feet away. If you have the hop up adjusted correctly, this thing will probably do some good work.
This thing is basically a full auto BB hose. Let's go show you guys what I mean. Even stock, this thing is still a monster, but with all the upgrades we did, like the short stroke kit and of course the HPA adapter, it would make this thing absolutely dominate in a CQB field. Even if you try to shoot little bursts of this thing, it'll still shoot like 10 BBs super quickly. Yeah, please don't sign me up to play against this thing.
This one is the Novridge SSR9 and it comes in at just under $300. Under this, of course, we have the full SSR9. Very simple packaging. All you have is basically the airsoft gun and the magazine.
So now let's raise the question, why is it banned at the airsoft field? The first reason is because of its electronic trigger unit. It allows you to program binary trigger mode and of course burst mode, which means every time you pull the trigger, you can have multiple BBs come out from a single trigger pull. These two functions are pretty much banned at every single airsoft field I've ever played at. But that's not even the worst of it. The second reason why this is banned is because it has a DSG gear in it. To make it super simple, the DSG gear allows the airsoft gun to shoot double as fast as normal. So compared to the normal SSR9, this one shoots twice the rounds per second, which is way over what airsoft fields allowed. So let's go ahead and go to the chronograph and test it out and see how fast it shoots.
First, let's go ahead and just start off with a simple semi-automatic and see what this guy's shooting. Then of course we'll go on full auto and show you guys why it's so insane. 324.8 FPS with 1.98 joules. 326.2 and 326. Very consistent with just under a joule of 0.99. Now let's go to the RPS and show you guys why this thing is so insane. That's right, people. 37 rounds per second. That's crazy. That sounds insane. That time we got 38 rounds per second. That's insane. It's shooting between 37 and 38 rounds a second. Just imagine this on the airsoft field. That'd be crazy. Like, that'd be so bad. We're gonna do the same thing as the pistol. We're gonna start with the 80-foot target and then of course move our way over to the 160-foot target. Start with semi-automatic. Definitely very good groupings at 80 feet and of course no issues for this one. Let's go ahead and see if we can hit 160 feet away. Oh wow, pretty good. Definitely pretty solid. I'm using 0.28 BBs as well. And of course, full auto time. Hearing the BBs hit that barrel over there is so satisfying. Very nice. Seems like this hop-up system is actually really good. I think the main thing holding this one back for a range perspective is obviously just the FPS. See if we can hit that sniper tower. I don't even know how far that is. Nope, not quite the sniper tower. All right, so after using our trusty rangefinder, I guess that sniper tower is about 270 feet away and it's just barely not getting there. So I'd say a realistic accurate range for this one is actually probably about 200 feet, which is definitely pretty impressive for a little tiny submachine gun. If we were just to play with this thing on semi-automatic, I see no issue. It's pretty fast, but it's not stupid fast. You can definitely shoot pretty quick though, but it doesn't have some stupid like hair trigger or something that makes it extremely fast. But of course, going to the full auto changes that up a little bit. If this thing was able to be allowed at a super small CQB field like this, like the shipment map from Call of Duty, that's where I see a problem. Because this full auto is absolutely absurd. I do not want to be at the other end of this thing. It is shooting 10 plus RPS over what any field limit I've ever seen is.
I'm so scared right now.
In this case, we have one of the most insane Airsoft M4s that you could possibly build. I mean, you literally can't get nicer internals than what this one has in it. Let's go ahead and open it up and check it out. So straight out of the case, we could tell that this thing has some insanely rare and expensive externals, but that's definitely not what makes this thing so special.
This Airsoft M4 was originally built by the Airsoft tech, one of the most famous Airsoft techs in the world, hence the name. He was one of the ones that inspired me to start up teching on Airsoft guns many years ago. He filled this thing up with the most top tier expensive parts that make it shoot ludicrous speeds on full auto. Just for the parts in the lower part of the gearbox, it's totaling over $500. And this super rare electronic board you can't even buy anymore. But this type of build has definitely demonstrated some online controversy over the years in some super famous videos I'm sure you're all familiar with. So without further ado, let's go ahead and test it out and see what it's capable of.
That's a lot of.
If you thought that ARP9 was bad, this thing takes it to a whole nother level. With these extremely insane builds, obviously the internals require a crazy battery. So a lot of times with these DSG builds that shoot these insane rounds per second, you'll see a lot of these players actually use the battery on the side of the stock. Without further ado, let's go ahead and test the semi-mac, and then we'll go on to the full auto. 304.4 FPS with 0.86 joules. 303, 314.7. Looks like it's shooting about 310 to 320 FPS. A lot of times with these crazy DSG builds, they require a crazy compression setup, as you're pretty much cutting the compression in half with the gear setup. So a lot of times when people build these, they'll actually shoot to the low 300s. And of course, the semi-mac response is absolutely ludicrous. Now let's go on to what you guys are waiting for, the rounds per second. I need a minute. Bruh, what the f is that? Dude, that's so messed up. 54 rounds per second. Imagine just like clearing a building with this and just shooting someone. That's so banned. There's no way that's legal at any field. I cannot get over this. It's hilarious. Okay, let's do it one more time. What the heck? That time 53.5 rounds per second. I think we're actually out of the magazine here. Yeah, that's it. That was like a couple 100 round magazine too. That's scary. Let's go ahead and load up with about 100 rounds right here. Let's go ahead and see how fast this thing empties the magazine out. All right, here we go. It just sounds so satisfying. Okay, Polar Star builds are cool and all, but they do not sound like that. That is something special. Like, just sounds like an A10 Warhog. It's crazy. Such a beautiful gun with such ghetto tape. It is what it is. Just like the SSR9, we're gonna start out at, of course, the 80-foot test, and then we're gonna go to the 160-foot test to double the range, and then last but not least, we're gonna see if this bad boy can actually hit that sniper tower at 270 feet away. Of course, no problem for this one. Let's go to 160 feet away. Of course, no issue for this one as well. Now let's go ahead and see if it can hit 270 feet away.
At first, I was basically just aiming straight at it and definitely didn't have any luck. I probably should have turned the hop up thinking back now, but we went ahead and aimed way up and actually hit a couple shots on it.
Hey! I'm aiming quite a bit up, but this thing is only shooting like 300 FPS. So for the FPS, considering that, still hitting 270 feet away, even if I'm aiming up a little bit, that's pretty respectable. Now, of course, what y'all waited for, the full auto. It shot so fast it vibrated the like fake aim point cap off. That's crazy.
Now please enjoy a montage of a little bit of bird.
Thank you so much for watching the video, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy this one. If you guys did enjoy, there is another one from this series where I actually tested banded airsoft products. And if that one isn't tickling your fancy, we have another one right here that YouTube personally recommends for you. With that said, guys, I'll see you guys in the next one.